Yo, how's it going, everybody? It's MacklinGaming. This week we had two big games coming out, very popular games, and I feel like this has happened already this year, like multiple times, where two big releases come out on either the same day or like the same week. So what we had was Oblivion Remastered, an old classic, and the other game being the game that I want to talk about today in this video, indie game, so to speak, of about 30 ex-Ubisoft developers that went off and made their own studio after getting, laid off. And all these layoffs you hear about over the years, recent years. And this team created a game, an RPG called Clair Obscura Expedition 33. So that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to call it Expedition 33. I think that's a cool name, a little bit shorter and easier to figure out. So this RPG is coming out as one of the highest rated games of the year. It's gotten a 92 on Metacritic so far, and everyone that has played it, like all these other YouTubers that I watch, game reviewers, they're saying it's a game of the year contender, a masterpiece, amazing. People are saying it's almost like a 10 out of 10 game, right? So I've gotten a few hours into the game by now, and I want to talk about my first impressions. This is by no means an expert's review. I'm brand new to this game and all the lore and all the terminology. So it's a lot to go over, even in the first few hours of the game. So let's get into it. So this RPG is set in like a fantasy, very French stylized world, it seems. Like, I can't tell if this is in the future or the past. It seems like it's in the past a little bit, but I think it's just its own universe. And, you got these people with like Gustave and Maël, very French names. It's got a really cool art style. And overall, the game world and the vibe, people are comparing it, believe it or not, to Final Fantasy X. It feels like that when you're playing, and like even some of the parts of the world, like some of the levels look like Macalania Woods and stuff. But you can tell the people who made this game are huge classic Final Fantasy fans and like classic RPG fans, the way they designed this game. What I haven't talked about yet is the banger turn-based combat of this game. In 2025, I feel like turn-based combat is a dying breed. Not many games can modernize it and keep it going, keep it interesting and fun and like fast paced, so it doesn't feel slow and break up a game's pacing, right? So Persona, Metaphor, that Atlas team is amazing at it. And then you got like the Yakuza team who still does the modern turn-based combat. They're really great at it. But here comes this team out of nowhere and creates what I think, and other people are saying is like one of the best turn-based combat systems ever made, like definitely in the modern day. So you've got a few characters, Gustave is your main character, you got Lune, I think, and eventually you get more characters into your party, right? This girl named Maël, for instance. And these three characters like have such different combat styles. So when you play as Gustave, you have like a sword, and you can even like shoot a gun for ranged attacks. But he has his own set of skills, and those skills are like unique to his character only. And then Lune has like magic. They call them like stains. I don't know why they call it that, but she has like magic attacks that leaves stains on the enemy or something. Each character feels like its own completely different, experience to control and to attack with. They all have their own magic and their own skills. But one thing that every character in your party can share and mix and match with is your pictos. Pictos are what really other games call like perks, but each picto you select can be slotted into each character has 3 slots for pictos, and they're essentially just perks. You slot one in and it's like better 50% more base attack damage, or another one is like if you get a perfect dodge, you can regain an ability point to then do a bigger skill. And what do I mean by a perfect dodge? Well, this game has like an incredibly satisfying system of dodging and parrying, like something you'd expect in a Souls game, but you're in a turn-based combat. So every time the enemy attacks you, you can either parry or dodge the attack. Some attacks can't be parried or dodged, and then you have to jump. So there's button indications for each of these, and you have to get this little timing window perfect to to get a perfect dodge or a parry out. And if you get these successfully done, you can counter for like huge damage and take the enemy out easily. So these parries and dodges, perfect dodges, are super awesome to like execute in the game. And once you get it, you know, it feels very satisfying when you time up an enemy's attack and then you're dealing bigger damage and getting through the fights easier. So if you can time that stuff up, you can really get powerful in the game with the parries and the dodges. So there's so much more going on that I don't even really comprehend yet, like the Lumina system. It's the way that your Pictos, once they're slotted in, if you do enough battles with them equipped, you then permanently gain that ability and you can remove that Picto from your slot, pick another one, and the Lumina is already available for your character to equip permanently without using a slot for a Picto to be equipped. It's so like, I was like, what? This took me a little while to figure out. But once you get cooking with these Luminas and Pictos and stuff, you can really create some powerful builds. One of them is like 50% more basic attack damage. And then another one is if you do a basic attack, you get an attack buff on yourself. And another one was if you do a basic attack, you like shatter the defense of the enemy. They're defenseless. So there's so many different ways to like build your character with these different Pictos and Luminas. But it takes a while to like really figure out what each thing does and how to equip it. The inventory is like, it's nice. It looks good, but sometimes I'm not sure like how to equip stuff and like where to go to find this and find that. So I'm still learning it. So the combat is outstanding for turn-based combat. What else is going on in this game? It's a beautiful visual game. It has an amazing soundtrack so far. I think this game will have a soundtrack of the year nominee at the end of the year. And a lot of people are saying it's going to have an overall game of the year nominee by the end of the year. Like this little indie game of, you know, some developers that came from Ubisoft, I think got fired and they're like, all right, we'll make our own passion project. This is what they really wanted to do, not be like support on Rainbow Six Siege or the next Assassin's Creed, you know? And now you've got an amazingly unique, creative, you know, visually and creative in the combat RPG game. So this game is out of nowhere becoming one of the best games. Like last year, for me, that was Metaphor, but Metaphor is made by a big team. But with Expedition 33, this is what all RPG fans and video game fans want to see. You know, like when you hear about people getting laid off in the video game world, like from Ubisoft or what, you're like, you feel bad for these people losing their jobs, but it's like, are they continuing to make games? Are they doing anything? And for this, you know, original game, super unique RPG to come out that everybody who's played it so far is loving it, you know, this is what you want to see from the video game industry. I'm psyched about that. And RPG fans are eating so well right now. It's been insane this year already, so I can't keep up. Luckily, you know, it's not lucky, but the latest update for Oblivion has broken the DLSS setting for PC Game Pass. So when I try to play Oblivion now, my frame rate is tanked. It's absolutely terrible. So I did this update like yesterday, and since then my DLSS is just broken. It won't turn on at all. And I see other people having the same problem on Game Pass. So if you play Oblivion on PC Game Pass, watch out for that. Maybe skip the update. But now I just gotta wait for another update, so I'm just gonna go back to playing more Expedition 33. What do you guys think about this game, Expedition 33? Let me know in the comments. Leave a like on the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.